I started a personal project of reading a book from every country in the world. This is a project that I wanted to start for a long time, but I was like really intimidated because, for one, I was like, first of all, it's going to take you like 5 years to do this. And then I was like, no, it's going to take like 10 years. And then I really thought, I was like, it's going to take like 15 years because it's not like I'm only going to read books like within this project. I'm also going to read whatever else I want to read. And I also I'm like a recovering perfectionist, overachiever. I do not say that with pride. Those things have done nothing but hold me back. But reading was like the safe space for me, where it was always something that I really just did for pleasure. Like, I just read what I wanted to read. So I kind of didn't want to like break that and turn reading into like a goal thing. But those are all the reasons not to. But this just kept like itching on my heart, like I just wanted to do it. And basically, when I really thought about it, I was like, okay, if I'm like in my 40s when this project is over, that's intimidating, but at the same time, I could be like a person in their 40s that's read a book from every country, or I could be a person in my 40s who hasn't and probably just continues to read pretty much the same kinds of things versus who's read so many different things. And so I started. And if you want to join me, I'm not saying you have to read a book from every country if you want to join, but like if you want to, get book recs from different places and sometimes read different books with me or do them all, fuck it, we ride. Join me on Fable. This is not a partnership with Fable, but I'm hype because I started my own book club on Fable. Yeah. I know. I'm fucking excited. Super excited. I feel like such a cool girl for starting my own book club. It's called Atlas Reading the World, I'm pretty sure. I might be open to changing that title. There's a lot to work with here. Atlas, the world, books. There's a lot to work with. There's like a lot of different like play on words I could have used. I was also leaning towards Atlas's Worldwide Book Club because that just sounded cool. So, if you have input on the name and you have a good idea, put it in the comments. But yeah, join me. It'll be fun. Right now, we're reading, or I'm reading. We can pretend like there's people in my book club. Actually, there is one person besides me in my book club. Shout out, best friend. Right now, we are reading A Case of Exploding Mangoes by a T. No, I don't remember the author's name right now, but it is from Pakistan, and it is a super interesting book because it's about, in the 80s, there was a plane crash in real life that killed General Zia ul-Haq. I could have pronounced that wrong. Who was a dictator, a military dictator in Pakistan, and like an American diplomat. I don't know who else it killed, but those people were like, it was a big deal. And they don't know what happened. Like, nobody still knows what happened, still doesn't know what happened. And so it's this like mystery. Obviously, a really intriguing mystery. So this guy wrote a book about it and like fictionalized like behind the scenes what happened. And it's really, really fucking funny because it's a comedy, and it's probably the funniest book I've ever read. Because because not that many books like actually make you like laugh out loud while you're reading. Well, they do to me actually, but this one did a lot. And yeah, I guess I don't normally read books like this too. So I am really into it though. I'm like a little over halfway in. And the political intrigue, peak. Military drama, check. Super funny. Some gay stuff, check. So yeah, if you want to read it with me, come to my book club. If not, stay tuned. I'll tell you how I feel about it at the end, but I'm not going to tell you what happens because that would be spoilers. So, speaking of books, I have a little rant. So, it is back off Elizabeth Gilbert. Okay. Um, I recently read All the Way to the River by Elizabeth Gilbert. It came out this year. It's a memoir about sex and love addiction, about her experience being not only in love with, but addicted to her partner, who was addicted to drugs and dying. So yeah, it's pretty intense stuff. I did cry. I found the book really from the heart. Um, Not the most well written thing I've ever read. I would probably give it like a 3.5 or 4 stars out of 5 for me. It was yeah, it was touching. It was educational. I think it would help a lot of people. It was interesting. I never wanted to really stop reading it, and I kept reading it the whole time. Um, my only real critique of it is that there was like a lot of exposition, and I would have wanted it written in scenes more. Um, so yeah, probably 4 stars. I don't know. And but my critique of the critiquers is like, man, there is so many mean ass critiques out there, and I just really hadn't seen that, like the levels. It was crazy. I kept seeing people being like mixed feelings about Elizabeth, and I was like, why? I'm curious. I'm always on board for a bit of mixed feelings. um but one person said she mined her wife's death for content. That's a really intense thing to say. Somebody called it privilege. Rude. Um, yeah, she's rich. I don't know, like, what. It's just, there's so many critique. One person's critique, actually, a few of these fucking critiques, it looked like they busted out a thesaurus to write the title of the critique, like the title of the article. Can you think of a douchier, dweebier thing to do, like, than to be a man trying to sound so like the smartest person to ever live while using words that nobody uses to critique a woman's story about like the death of her love of her life? Like, it's sad to me that it's so normalized to not just critique the writing and the story and the way that it was written, but to actually like critique the person's right to tell their story and the right for this story to exist. Um and man, the way that society treats women with money is disgusting. It's pretty easy to what I'm trying to say is it is very easy to get a lot of people to agree with you when you're like, rich white woman, da da da, you know? Um, Rich white woman, and then you say whatever it is, and it's like automatically like she should be humiliated for whatever she did or something. But the same is not for rich white men. I will say that. Okay. I feel that if a man wrote this book, honestly, the critiques would be that it's the most tender, sweet, vulnerable thing that's ever been written, and he's the bravest person alive for writing it. But that's just what's expected of women, so it's like we're just going to decimate her for that. It's fucked up. Yeah, the injustice of it just like really pisses me off, and I want to say something about it because I think that, well, none of my listeners probably wrote those articles. When that kind of judgment is normalized, it's easy to kind of go along with it. And without even realizing, a lot of times when you're being judgmental, it sounds logical, it sounds normal, especially when it's normalized and common. So, the reason that I think it's important is really not for Elizabeth Gilbert's feelings, though I do care about them, but it's because when we think that way, it limits us from living our own lives. You know, if you're thinking about people and you're quick to judge their stories, you're not going to be as quick to live out your own stories. And if you're quick to judge their adventures or their vulnerable attempts at self improvement, you're going to be slower to do those things as well. So I want to normalize critiquing the critiquers a little bit more. You sound like a fucking dweeb ass motherfucker busting out a thesaurus to critique somebody's book. Like, bro. And it was a book about like addiction and stuff. You really didn't need a thesaurus. You know what I mean? Like, also, some people called it self-indulgent. It is. But what they don't understand is that that is just how people in recovery talk. This is not me critiquing people in recovery. What I'm saying is that if you have ever been in recovery, you understand there is a culture of how you speak, and that's not a bad thing. It's actually a really helpful thing. And that is all over that book. And if you've never been exposed to any type of recovery speak, you might not know that. And then you might think that she sounds kind of like crazy, but it's just because you don't know. And that's what I found so ironic about so many of the critiques is that a lot of them felt like they were ignorant, trying to critique her of being ignorant somehow. And maybe a lot of people were critiquing from the place that they had read Eat, Pray, Love. I did not read Eat, Pray, Love until after I finished this book. And I was like, oh, I want to read it because I'm kind of on a memoir thing. And I was like, well, now I kind of want to read like one of the most popular memoirs of all time since I just read this other one. I did not like Eat, Pray, Love. Again, the way that people talk about Eat, Pray, Love, it's like this wealthy white woman did this thing, so therefore it is automatically embarrassing. Like, for her just to exist is embarrassing, and for her to go to other countries, embarrassing. And it's a punchline automatically. That is not why I don't like it. I think it didn't really age well. Which obviously, like, this is so random that I'm even talking about this in 2025. But I just didn't think it was that good of a book, for one. But I actually had to stop reading when she glorified casteism without realizing it. and said some other stuff. And I was like, that's where we're going to stop. And I DNF'd. But again, if you're judging somebody in 2025 based on something in 2020, I mean, in 2000, like, come on. Who were you in 2000? Like, I mean, I was like a 4-year-old, so I'm fine. But you know what I mean? We're all going to come to a time when we're old enough that something we said or did didn't age well. And I think that just allowing humanity is a really good thing. Allowing humanity is a beautiful thing. That has its exceptions. But also to always remember that women are always judged 10 times harsher, and that we can deconstruct, critique by critique, book by book. We can deconstruct why we might feel that something doesn't have the right to exist. Is because there's something really wrong with it, like some things? Or is it because there are systems in place to invalidate it, On another note, this week, little Cloud Pink Beauty plug, but this week, if you've ever used a product of ours before, you can go to our website and leave a review, and I will send you a $10 gift card. So yeah, head to our website, leave a review for any product you've used, or go through your email as well, and I will send you a gift card. If you're doing it through the email, just email me back, or I will just go through and check, like, who did it, I guess. I'll need to have their emails. So yeah, email me. Email me at atlas@cloudpinkbeauty.com. And quick reminder, if you are looking for a small business that is ran with a lot of love and absolutely no toxins, no endocrine disruptors, clean beauty products to help you with your self-care rituals, check out Cloud Pink Beauty. We make everything in Portland. We make everything with a lot of love, a lot of expertise. My partner Samik is a freaking genius at this stuff. So go check us out. Whether it's a present for yourself or somebody else, or just whatever. New Year's. New Year's is a great time to up your shampoo game and your skincare game. So, yeah, go check it out. Okay, I have another rant, and it's about mean gay men. So, I think that those of you gay men that are mean and sexist and racist and fatphobic and all the things, I think that you think that you're a lot cuter than you really are, and you think that you're being mean and bitchy in like a girl way, but you're not. You're doing it in a man way. And like, it seems like you think that we don't know that. Like, you think that you're pulling this off. You're not. It's not cute. It's really not cute. You're not even a girl's girl. Like, you don't have to be a girl to be a girl's girl, you know? And I'll stand on that I will die on that hill. You do not have to be a girl to be a girl's girl. But that's not how you're going to get in the club for sure. Okay? I had a boss until recently because I quit. I can talk about this now. That he's a gay white man, Gen X, and he would say a lot of really nasty things about people behind their backs. Really vile things sometimes, honestly. Racist things, sexist things, mean things. And, you know, it's like besides being gay, you really are just like a man from Idaho. And being gay really doesn't make that different as you think it does. All right, that is pretty much everything that I can think to talk about, which that's crazy, but that is the truth. Go get your Cloud Pink products, okay? For the rest of December, 10% of the profit is going to support the Gaza Soup Kitchen. They're really dope. They're on the ground feeding people in Gaza, making sure food spreads far and wide as possible. I think they're feeding like 3,000 or 4,000 people a day. So it's like really good. Free Palestine. And have a beautiful Christmas or holiday. And a very amazing New Year. No, I should be back here before the New Year. So yeah, have a very amazing holiday, everybody. I hope everybody has somebody to love in this season, and that all your wishes are coming true. So obviously, I recorded this a little while ago. But right now for Jan and Feb, we are actually supporting caretakers of the land. You can learn all about what they do in the previous episode of Cloud Pink Podcast. And 10% of our profits for these 2 months will be going to support them. All right, y'all. Bye.